My name is Sharon Cisco Rivest. My great-grandfather was taken from the west coast of Africa as a slave, and then he was brought to the U.S., and some of his children were born while they were still slaves. And when my grandmother was fairly young, they came under the bottom of a ship into Nova Scotia to freedom. This is my grandma, and these are my two older sisters that are with her. And this is quite a story. This is my great-great-uncle, William Hall. He was the only black man, Canadian or US, that received the Victorian Cross. We treasure it because it took them 150 years in Canada before they would honor William Hall. He was not allowed to be buried with the other soldiers in a place of honor. And in 2010 was when they finally called the remainder of the family and made a celebration. I was one of the ones honored to be there. I was one of 12 children, and we grew up in a little village called Lockerville. We were one of the very few black families in that area of Nova Scotia. We suffered a fair amount of persecution. When I walked to school, I'd have Kool-Aid dumped in my hair, or have sugar dumped in my hair, or be sometimes spit on, and my mom would come back crying to her. She wouldn't allow us to give in. She'd say, "You've got to love, you got to win them by love," and made us keep going. I'll tell you a story how we dealt with the prejudice. Once we were walking up over a big steep hill we used to call Hutchison's Hill, and my friend was calling me some names, and so I turned to her and I called her by her name and I said, "You're not hurting me, you're hurting God." And she kind of was baffled. She didn't know what to do. She was blonde hair and blue eyes, and so I said to her, "Well, you see, God made the first man from mud, and I'm closer to the color of mud than you are." And I said, "My dad told me that Jesus had hair like sheep's wool, so my hair is woolly. So I'm closer to God." I said, "But I'll tell you how you came about." And she was all anxious to hear. So I told her when Adam and Eve sinned in the garden, and then when they heard God's voice calling them, they got so scared they bleached out white. And I think she believed it. And after that, she wanted to be my friend, and to this day, we are best of friends. I came to the Pontiac in 1973 and into this area at the end of 1974 after I got married. I found it very lonely at times, being the only person of color or black in the area. When I was pregnant with Jean-Claude, my first baby, I actually was asked how was he going to look when he was born. Was he going to be white with brown polka dots, or was he going to be brown with white spots? So what I did, I said, what happens when you put Quick or cocoa in white milk? You mix it and it blends together. And I said, that's what's going to happen to my baby. Then after he grew up, and he was 15, they thought that Jean-Claude was pretty nice looking. Sometimes I almost had to beat the girls off. Nobody is junk. Everyone is of value. And I try to pour that into my children to keep it going. I think I always had a desire to help people. And that was passed down, I think, from my mom. One thing, she always made us look out for the underdog. So I think that's what probably led me to want to go into ministry and to help people, to also show people they're of value. I am a senior pastor of the church here in Campbell's Bay, and I also am director of an Alzheimer's center. The universal problem of accepting others and accepting who we are ourselves is a problem that has been from the beginning, I believe, of time. But when somebody does not feel confident in themselves, they do not know who they are, they don't have a purpose, they begin to attack somebody else out of their own insecurity. I think there is almost a fear in youth that seniors are not going to accept them. And seniors have the same fear towards the youth. And we cannot do without each other. People are people, no matter what they look like on the outside, it's what's on the inside that counts. We're slowly learning to get past our fears and just appreciate and embrace each other.